It is difficult to find anybody who has had more of an impact on this community than Vicki and George Ranney, both from the perspective of the environment and from the general civic purpose.
They have an agenda, but they don't push their agenda hard. And I think people respect that. They stand for something, and you know exactly what they stand for.
I think their vision has been a betterment for people, saving land and creating an ecological base that will preserve the land and make it better for generations to come. George has a love of the land that I think was instilled in him by his parents, and of course has a deep devotion to Brushwood because he grew up here.
George is probably the most effective kind of civic leader that I've ever encountered, who can reach out to diverse constituents, especially the business community, and engage them in powerful ways, thinking about the future of this region. Vicki is very much the scholar, but also the advocate.
When we first met, Vicki was editing the Olmsted papers. I think Vicki's work brought her to a very strong understanding of the importance of parks and people.
She was a founder of Friends of the Parks, has been a great advocate for improving, protecting, enhancing the park system in Chicago. And so together they have worked on a number of very important efforts. One of the most significant is the Liberty Prairie Reserve and Prairie Crossing.
They built a conservation community here that is nationally recognized and has been modeled ever since. And the quality of life at Prairie Crossing is amazing. Not just the size of the houses or the backyards or the prairies, but the community aspect that develops when you can go outside and walk down the path and talk to your neighbor, and brings that quality of life of community back. And I think that's the importance of some of the things I see in George and Vicki.
They're so comfortable together. They just are always helping, and you can just see the love and devotion that they have.
They obviously are a very close couple. They love each other. But they also are a great team.
We usually hang our hats on three things: social, political, and economics. George and Vicki introduced the environment to that same equation and shows how that model does work, how that community gets stronger because of that. And that is what you do in the ecological world, where you want that diversity, you want that mix and match. And that's the model that George and Vicki have done for communities throughout Lake County and beyond.
When one looks at the environment and thinks about Vicki, the editing of the Frederick Law Olmsted papers, the founding of Friends of the Park, and you look at George and Medewan National Tallgrass Prairie and the Conservation Fund, and then think what they did together at Prairie Crossing, how can you underestimate the impact that the two of them have had?